Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome to January 2015. If it's the first time you're tuning in, welcome. My name is Nick Stern. I'm a certified financial planner with Robert L. Stern Financial Services. And thanks for tuning in. I hope January's treating you well, and I wish you the best for the rest of 2015. I look forward to seeing you over the next months with, tuning into the videos. So this month I wanted to talk about debt. And I'll just cover it briefly, just a couple, tidbits about it that I think are important to know and consider. And I think that's important to talk about because we've talked about personal finances, namely budgeting and saving, and I think debt ties into both of those two topics. So everybody can probably relate to, having debt, or most people. I believe in having debt is not a bad thing. It's just you have to manage debt efficiently in order to make sure that it doesn't become a bad thing. So a couple ways or a couple considerations before you take out that credit card or you take out that loan. I think the first question is, can I afford these monthly payments or the term payments? Because once you sign those documents and once you take that money out or once you agree to the lending terms, you're obligated to make those payments until the term runs out. And, even if you have a steady income, you just want to make sure that you can afford to make those payments, because those payments aren't going to fluctuate regardless if your income is going to fluctuate. That really ties into the terms. When you take out the credit card or when you take out the loan, you want to make sure that you understand the terms through and through. Ask multiple questions. Ask multiple questions twice or three times. Just understand exactly what they are. There are quite a few very favorable or generous offers out there regarding credit cards or loans or personal loans. I get one at least weekly about personal loans, and while on the paper they make it look really good, just make sure that you understand it fully, because what can happen is they'll kind of tell you about, oh, it's this great deal, or it's no interest for a year, but once that year's up, the interest rate can go to 20 or 30%, which is significant. And if you're still carrying a balance on something like that, then you're gonna be paying a lot in interest that you might not have known or might not have seen or might not have thought about. For example, we got furniture and our year is up and we had a very small balance left, and I made sure to pay off the small balance right before, because our interest would have probably doubled what our balance would have been. So just as an example. In, again, my opinion, I don't really think that's a bad thing, but keeping in mind what the terms are and whether or not you can afford it is really important. I think debt is good because if you're going to finance anything basically in the future, you're going to need to have some sort of credit history. Now, you'll run into people that have zero debt, and that's great, but if they ever need to finance something, they basically have no credit history whatsoever, and they're not going to be able to get a loan or a credit card or what have you. So even if you take a small credit card out and you spend and then you pay off the balance every single month, that's going to start building your credit history. If you ever want to buy a house and you're someone who can't do it in cash, which is most of us, you're going to need to take out a mortgage, and you're going to need a strong credit history and a good credit score in order to even be considered to take out a mortgage. In addition, of course, to income and savings and all that. But debt is important when it comes to credit history and being assessed whether or not you're a person that a lender is going to consider lending to. I think the bad things about debt are certainly it's very easy to, accept all these credit card offers or great, at least at face value, loans and what have you, but then you get a little overwhelmed and all of a sudden you can't afford the monthly payments, and that's where it becomes a problem. And it's very easy to do that because it's like, oh yeah, hey, I'll take out this credit card, I'll buy on it, maybe I don't have the money now, but I'll pay it off later. And what happens is you build up such a balance, and then all of a sudden you're paying quite a bit in interest, and then the minimum payments are more than what you could probably afford, and a lot of unfortunate things can happen through taking on too much debt. So it's really important that before you sign any application, or even consider signing an application, that that you have that income, and that you have that emergency fund, and that you can afford to make those payments. Or if you're having a charge card, you can afford to make and pay off the balance each month that you do it. I think another maybe good thing that's not kind of typical, or it's more regarding just your own personal, financial planning well-being, is I think that can help you budget, and it can help you save and really understand and manage your finances more efficiently. That's because you're required to make those payments, and that if you don't make the payments, you're going to get penalized, and it can impact your credit score, which is what you don't want. Impact it negatively, of course. So you're going to have to, go and delve into your finances and really understand what they all mean and what you can afford, and then you can go back and say, okay, I can do this payment, or I can't do this payment. So I think it'll help, give you a better understanding of what's going on as far as your finances too. That's just a very brief, general review of debt. If you'd like to talk about it more or have more questions about it, there's been a number and email at the bottom of the screen. Again, my name is Nick Stern, and I'm a CFP. Really appreciate you tuning in and joining me today. I look forward to seeing you next month, and I hope you have a great rest of January. I know I am. I'm getting married in about 10 days from now, so really excited. Take care.